Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I'm excited to kick off today's presentation on UI policies. The focus will be on data migration and integration, an essential part of our project. Over the next few slides, we'll explore how we plan to manage data transfer, ensure seamless integration, and implement effective policies. Let's get started and dive into the details. On this slide, we're focusing on how controls can shape form behavior dynamically within ServiceNow. Essentially, this means we can define how fields behave based on different conditions without needing to write any scripting. For example, you can set certain fields to be visible or hidden, mandatory or optional, or read-only depending on what the user is doing or what data has been entered. This level of control helps us manage the form's behavior in a way that's intuitive and responsive. By doing so, we significantly improve data accuracy and consistency because users are guided to input the right information at the right time. Plus, these enhancements lead to a better user experience, making the forms easier to interact with and reducing errors. Overall, this capability empowers us to create smarter, more adaptable forms that align seamlessly with our workflow needs. Let's talk about rules that dynamically control form behavior. These are low-code features, so you don't need any scripting to set them up. They are used to make fields mandatory, read-only, or visible based on specific conditions. And the great thing is, you can apply these rules directly on forms and fields, giving you a lot of control without complex coding. Now, what are UI policies? Essentially, they are these rules that help us manage how our user interface behaves dynamically, making forms smarter and more user-friendly. This ties into our overall theme of simplifying customization and improving user experience without heavy coding. Let's take a closer look at why UI policies are so important. First, they simplify form interactions, making it easier for users to complete their tasks without confusion or frustration. When forms are straightforward, users can navigate them quickly and efficiently. Second, UI policies help reduce user errors. By guiding users and preventing common mistakes, we ensure the data entered is accurate from the start. Third, they play a crucial role in ensuring data consistency. Consistent data not only improves the quality of information, but also streamlines processes downstream. Lastly, UI policies significantly enhance usability. When interfaces are intuitive and predictable, users feel more confident and satisfied with their experience. Overall, these points highlight how well-designed UI policies support a smoother, error-free, and more reliable user interaction, which is essential for achieving our broader goals of efficiency and quality in our systems. Let's take a closer look at the UI policy components. On this slide, you'll see the key elements involved in creating and managing UI policies. First, we have the UI policy record, which is essentially the container for all the policy details. Then, there are the UI policy actions, which define what happens when certain conditions are met. Speaking of conditions, that's the next component. These are the rules or criteria that trigger the actions. We also have scripts, which are optional, but they give us a lot of flexibility to customize behavior beyond basic actions. Understanding these components helps us see how UI policies work together to control user interface behavior efficiently. This is fundamental to ensuring a consistent and secure user experience across the platform. Now, let's take a look at some of the powerful UI policy actions we can use to customize the user experience. First up, we have set fields read-only. This allows us to make certain fields uneditable based on specific conditions, which is really useful for preventing users from changing data when it's not appropriate. Next, show or hide fields. This gives us the flexibility to control what users see, streamlining the interface and focusing their attention on what's relevant. Then, there's control field behavior dynamically, meaning we can change how a field behaves in real time, like enabling or disabling it based on other inputs. Moving on, we have make fields mandatory, which ensures users fill out critical information before proceeding. And all of these actions are part of what we call UI policy actions, a key tool in tailoring the interface to meet business rules and improve user efficiency. These actions work together to make our forms smarter and more user-friendly, and that's a core theme of today's presentation. Let's talk about defining when the policy should run. It's important to base this on specific field values so you can target exactly when your policy needs to activate. Using the condition builder makes this process straightforward, allowing you to set precise conditions without hassle. One of the great benefits here is that it supports multiple conditions, meaning you can combine several criteria to fine-tune your policy's triggers. This flexibility ensures your policies are both accurate and effective, aligning perfectly with your overall governance strategy. Let's take a closer look at how UI policies are executed. One key point to remember is that the order of execution is reversed if the option is set to false. This means that the sequence in which policies run can change based on that setting. Another important aspect is that these policies apply instantly on the user interface. So, as soon as a condition is met or changed, the UI updates immediately, providing a seamless experience for the user. You'll also notice that UI policies typically run during form load or when a field changes. This ensures that the interface stays dynamic and responsive to user actions or data updates. Overall, understanding when and how these policies execute helps us design more intuitive and efficient user interfaces within our applications. Now, let's move on to handling complex conditions and how we can integrate client-side logic into our UI policies. When dealing with complex conditions, it's important to understand that we can create more dynamic and responsive behaviors within our interfaces. This means setting up rules that can evaluate multiple criteria simultaneously to determine the appropriate actions. Integration with client-side logic allows us to extend the capabilities of our policies beyond the server, enabling faster and more interactive user experiences. For example, we might use scripting within our UI policies to perform real-time validations or to show and hide elements based on user input. This is where scripting in UI policies becomes particularly powerful. It gives us the flexibility to customize behavior precisely to our needs, making our interfaces smarter and more user-friendly. Overall, mastering these advanced UI policies helps us create more sophisticated, efficient, and tailored user interactions across our applications. Now, let's talk about some practical ways to improve form usability by focusing on user experience. One key approach is hiding irrelevant fields, which helps reduce clutter and prevents users from feeling overwhelmed. By controlling user input dynamically, we can guide users through the form more smoothly, showing or hiding fields based on their previous answers. Making fields mandatory based on selection is another powerful technique. For example, if a user chooses a specific option, we can automatically require certain additional information, ensuring the form is both flexible and accurate. These strategies are essential use cases that not only streamline the data collection process, but also make the entire interaction more intuitive and user-friendly. They tie back to our overall goal of creating smarter, more responsive forms that adapt to the user's needs in real time. UI policies really are a powerful tool to enhance how forms behave and how user-friendly they are. They allow us to provide dynamic control over form fields and actions without needing to write heavy or complex scripts. This makes our workflows much more efficient and easier to manage. For ServiceNow developers and admins, mastering UI policies is essential because they're key to creating intuitive and responsive interfaces. Ultimately, by leveraging UI policies, we can improve the overall user experience and ensure our applications are both functional and easy to use. This ties back to our overall goal of building smarter, more efficient ServiceNow solutions.